John, you've been billed as the interim chairman. Do you have any timeline on completing the task that you've been set?
Not personally. I'll stay on as long as required, but the priority is to get a chief executive. We're working on that right away. But I can stay on sort of indefinitely. I'm expecting a few months and a chairman would come in too.
In terms of the chief executive, one of the criticisms of the club has been that whether it's been the last couple of chairmen or the last couple of chief execs, they haven't really had that kind of almost barnstorming aspect to communications that a large football club needs. Will that loom large in your thoughts?
As a barnstormer or as a chairman? No, recruitment in any walk of life, guys, as you know, it's of the moment. The person we need needs to have multifaceted. The person needs to be good at everything. But it needs to be an assertive character, and we're looking much more to support the CEO with the chairman, and also that the CEO would have a lot of power day to day. The chairman would be slightly behind that.
John, there's been a lot of talk about what's went wrong at the club, and we haven't heard a lot about what's going to happen to fix it.
Yeah.
What is your plan to take us forward over the next few months?
There is a plan. I'm here to bring stability to that and enforcement of that plan. We've been distracted terribly by having to play at Hampden for a few months. And a lot of people forget that the original objective here was to create a great facility for our disabled supporters. It wasn't a renovation, it wasn't a reconstruction. That was the objective. Unfortunately, the timing was wrong. We got that part of it wrong, and we had to go to Hampden. But the position in place, managers in place, January will be January, and we're ready to keep going. You know, we see some fruits, the labour now, with some of the young players that are coming through and that we've signed. So I'm just here to bring stability and help recruit the CEO.
Is there a recognition then from the board that there have been a lot of bad decisions over the last 3 years, and that has led to the situation being as it is? Well, decisions are made, good, bad, and then things evolve from the decisions that are made, and it's only fair to say, yeah, we are where we are, but there's a lot of great things happen too. So.
On a personal level, John, how do you feel about being the chairman right now?
Oh, really pleased, honoured. Mrs. Gilligan's not too happy that we're not too much about that. No, I'm honoured, and it's a privilege, and I'm delighted to come in and after John had to step away because he's a personal friend, and I know that I can help. It's just a joy to be able to help. Yeah, very much so. And you know, I wear two hats. I'm a supporter, and I'm the chairman. But now I'm the chairman. You know, I have to take the supporter hat off and focus on doing the job.
How do you feel about that?
That's difficult, but it's essential. At 3 o'clock on the Saturday or whatever time we are, I can be the supporter for an hour and a half. But the responsibility of the chairman is to run the club properly and support everybody.
John, you'll have seen Dave King's comments. He said a number of things, one of which is he'd like to return as chairman. What's your view on that?
Well, Dave's a major shareholder, and we can say whatever he wishes to say. My view is it's a wee bit unrealistic, because I mean, Dave's a real businessman. He knows how shareholdings work, and he's a 15% shareholder. The other directors are 10, 12, 13% shareholders. It's unrealistic, you know.
He said that the club should call an EGM to determine who should be the next chairman.
Well, again, it's a wee bit unrealistic because EGMs are invariably called by people who wish to change something. So the current board don't wish to change. So why would we call an EGM?
One of the other things he signalled out, sorry, John, was that the need for investment, fresh investment in the club. He reckons up to 50 million quid is needed. Is there any indication of fresh investment coming into the club?
There is fresh investment coming into the club, but in fairness, Dave's talking about fresh investment, but he doesn't want to invest, so I'm not quite sure where he means investment is going to come from.
But you're saying there will be investment, John?
Yeah, there will be.
John, Dave King's characterisation of the club across various media outlets last week, a club in crisis, no leadership. Do you recognise that characterisation, or do you think he's got it wrong?
I think he got it wrong.
In what sense?
I think it's unfair, you know, you're sitting, what exactly is he saying is not good? What exactly is he saying is going wrong? Give us a plan and tell me if David had some terrific plan to tell me where we're all going wrong, then we would read that plan and we would consider it.
Has he reached out to you or any of the board, or is this all done purely through public?
No, I haven't spoken to Dave. Dave gave me one of the happiest days of my life when he asked me to join him 10 years ago, and I'll never forget it, never forget it. Since then I've met him, played golf and socialised when he's over, but I haven't heard from him, no.
John, when you see the club painted as a club in crisis, you were here in 2015 when you came in with Dave and Paul. Does it make you laugh when you see the club painted as a club in crisis, given what you inherited? How do you compare Rangers in 2015 to Rangers today?
Well, it's almost ridiculous to compare it. It made me cry rather than laugh, but I mean, 15 years ago, you cannot describe how low we were and what we inherited in terms of all sorts of aspects of the club. And it's unrecognisable since that day. And this is, listen, every day at Rangers Football Club is a challenge. Level of expectancy is enormous, and as a fan I'm part of that problem. But no, it's just ridiculous to compare it. Doesn't even begin to compare.
Would you accept, though, John, there's a significant gap between Rangers and Celtic right now, though, on and off the park?
And history tells you that happens. Sometimes we're ahead, sometimes Celtic are ahead. At the moment we're chasing. There's no argument there. Why would I'm not stupid enough to say otherwise, but we keep chasing. We'll be there.
Their financial advantages, John, are really powerful at the moment. Their accounts came out last week. Is that a gap that can be bridged, and how?
Well, player trading is the biggest success, and qualification for the Champions League. It's a kind of catch-22, you know. Player trading gets you income, Champions League gets you income. When you fail to get it, it's difficult because Scottish football's level of support, TV sponsorship, etc. You just can't compare it to England. So it's always a challenge, of course it is. But it's all about squad and bringing in players and winning your matches and moving forward.
John, in terms of Dave's comments, I just wonder how destabilising you think that is at a time when the club has its troubles in the boardroom, but financially trying to catch Celtic. How destabilising are the comments in general?
I think it's only destabilising if the people who are the major shareholders and operating the business don't have a plan, and we don't have people in place to execute it. We have had some difficulties recently with the stadium and things, but destabilising, no, not particularly. Dave's entitled to say what he wants, it's a free world, but I don't feel destabilised at all, no.
You mentioned that investment is coming. I wonder if you've got any more details on that in terms of when, where it might be coming
Well, what
from?
I was meaning was when someone asked the question of the man about investment, is that the current investors have invested considerably over the years and are willing to do so again. We are open to anyone who approaches us on investment, as you would be. We get approaches from all over the world, from various sources, but it has to be the right people, it has to be the right conditions, it has to be for the right amount of shares. We don't want one person owning the club.
Just picking up, finally for me, just picking up on what Rahman said, that Dave King said 50 million he thinks would be needed to bridge the gap. How much do you think would be needed to bridge the gap, and how big do you think that gap is, John?
I don't think you can put a number on it. I think the gap at the moment is considerable. That you just have to win your games, get back challenging for the top spot, and then if we get into the level of Europe that we hope to get into, then the gap can change quite quickly.
John, you met the manager for the first time last week. How did those conversations go, and what did you lay out to him as your vision for Rangers?
I was very impressed with the manager. I've met him a wee bit socially, but not properly. We had quite a long talk, myself and George Latham, and very impressive. The long and short of it is, I don't talk about football itself much as I want to. The manager's in charge. We're here to operate the business. The manager's supported to operate the training academy, the football club side of things. We'll never interfere in that. The one thing I will say to you guys is the manager's been kind of put forward as a spokesperson for the club, which has put him under kind of undue pressure at times, because it's an area of the business that is not his, and hopefully I'll pick up some of that or someone else will. But the manager is very impressive.
There have been some perhaps dissenting voices amongst the support about performances and results so far this season. Does he still have full backing of every member of the board?
Absolutely, yeah, definitely.
The famous lad was of a German. No, absolutely.
John, you've had to kind of go back to John Board in terms of the chief executive role. I mean, John spoke about somebody who had a bit of football now, some political clout in that department. Could you go out with football for the new person, maybe to a different sport or something, for example?
It's a great question, and I think it need to be exceptional. It need to be someone exceptional. You know how when you're recruiting, you're looking at, say, 4 or 5 must-haves, you know, and that's not really a must-have, but it's pretty close. And but if someone exceptional appeared, I think if he didn't have an interest in football or an understanding of football, it'd be a bit like me asking to be the chief executive of a technology company, you know. It's difficult, the knowledge of the product and the business, it's kind of difficult, but if an exceptional candidate was.
What kind of timescale do you have in that just now, do you know?
Yeah, we're well on. There was quite a number of people around it that we can pick up with again, and we're moving quickly on it.
Can I just ask finally, with regards to the chairman coming in, would you see somebody maybe who's independent of kind of existing people on the board, who come in as kind of non-executive director type role?
Yeah, I don't see that as being an issue for the board. I'm speaking for them a little bit, but no, non-executive chairman going forward, once we get a proper CEO in place, that's possible.
What are those 4 or 5 must-haves that you mentioned in that?
Oh, goodness, I wish I'd never said that now. But you need to have a strong business acumen, knowledge, experience. Need to have run businesses where there's pressure and they need to deliver. It can't really be a comfortable business because the stress and the pressure of being the CEO of a football club is pretty big. You need to have a great communication. You need to be a good communicator and good at, you know, getting to people. I need to have a tremendous work ethic because it goes without saying it's unbelievably difficult. It really is. And last, you need to be a good person, somebody good, somebody decent people. I like decent people.
John,
Sorry.
Dave King was very critical of how you're going about the recruitment process for the chief executive. Do you defend taking your time to get that right and the channels that you've gone through to bring the right man in?
What did Dave say?
I think he said something about you shouldn't have got a recruitment consultant to oversee it. It's a waste of money and you know that. Well,
That's not true. We've got professional people that will be announced as consultants, and we'll go through a proper recruitment process. I've no idea what he's referring to when he says that.
Where are you with the Copeland stand, and how much do you think being back at Ibrox will help bring back a little bit of a feel-good factor?
Well, I think it'll be huge. But winning in the pitch always does everything. But it's been a real tough time. I have to thank, in case I forget, I have to thank Mike Mulroney and Neil Doncaster at the SFA and the SPFL for helping us and allowing us to play at Hampden. And because that was a big thing for us. There's nobody else big enough for us. So, but this is home, and we're back home, so it's phenomenal a difference.
Where are you with the Copeland, and when will it be fully open?
Sorry?
Where are you with the Copeland stand, and when will it be fully
It's
open?
imminent, really hopeful, but we've got to be respectful of local authority approval, etc., and fire and insurances and things. It's all the little things now. Structurally, we're pretty much there.
Just there's a lot of chat, John, about what people think they know why you wouldn't welcome Dave King back on board. Can you just say why you don't think Dave King would be welcomed back on board?
That's another great question. Again, it's not really for me to say. I'm just the interim chairman, but if you look at what's been said and what the guys are saying, is there's a shareholding structure to the business. There's a projections, plans. Dave was chairman. Dave's still a major investor and can attend the AGM and ask questions, but there's just no appetite for it at the moment because one being as Dave was here before and he stepped away, other people stepped up, Douglas stepped down and John stepped in, so there's just no appetite.
Just from your conversations with the manager, are you confident they can reel in Celtic and deliver success in some form this season?
Yes. Yeah, personally, yes, he inspired a bit of confidence. He's very intelligent man that knows exactly what he's trying to do and what he's trying to do for the club, so yeah.
John, just a two-parter. Given everything that Dave King has said, do you think it would be helpful for Rangers if he just went quiet now for a while? And secondly, talking to Scottish Rugby, talking to the RNA, who've recently appointed chief executives, and they say it would be really, really hard to get a good one. Is that evidence you found too?
Yeah, in terms of Dave?
No, in terms of Dave, you wish he'd just kind of shut up, basically.
Yeah, well, well, you know, has any other, I'm trying to think, has any director or any person at the club said anything about Dave? No? Have they responded publicly to enter a No. Will I ever say anything bad about Dave? No. So in answer to your question, do I wish he would stop? Yes. Yes. I just said, Dave, you know, I would please, you know, take it below the radar. Behave like a proper shareholder. Don't do what you're doing. But it's just a shame, you know, because he's a great character and he's a massive influence in the club at the time, and I'll always respect that.
And just the second part of it, the Scottish Rugby and the RNA have found it really, really hard to get a top CEO.
Yeah.
They say there are not many out there. Is that what you're finding too?
Well, this is Rangers Football Club, and with respect to the other sports, it's a dominant sport in the country and much more attractive. As a golfer, certainly not a rugby player, but as a golfer, I accept that. So, no, we would expect to attract a top-level candidate.
Final question on it. John, just, there's obviously been a lot of change. Is there any other plans for the football board to look at sporting directors or anything, or is full focus on chief executive just now?
Well, yeah, the full focus on the chief executive, because in turn, if we bring in people, we'd really like to think that he would be part of that. We've also got a very competent executive team there, heading up commercial, marketing, finance, stadium, whatever. We've got a very competent team of guys and girls there. Oh, modern technology, sorry, people there. And, you know, no, we will be fine. These, but unfortunately, they're not connected. You know, sometimes you think, oh, they're not connected. It's just life, people get headhunted and move on and so on. So yeah, we're in a strong place.